Now, in an effort to narrow trust gap with Africa, Joe Biden called for long-term partnership rooted in good governance. At a U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit in Washington, aiming to position the United States as a partner to African countries, Biden told the African leaders that Washington is all in on Africa's future. The United States president announced an agreement aimed at bolstering trade ties between the United States and Africa as China makes inroads with investments and trade.
The United States is all in on Africa's future. And the work we've done over the past 2 years, building on decades of vital investments made under previous American presidents, has helped make possible the critical steps that I'm about to announce. First, the United States is signing a historic memorandum of understanding with the new African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat. This MOU will unlock new opportunities for trade and investment between our countries and bring Africa and the United States even closer than ever.
Now, Chinese trade with Africa, it's about 4 times that of the United States. And Beijing has become an important creditor of offering loans with less stringent conditions than Western lenders. And addressing a summit that brought 49 African leaders to Washington, Biden avoided taking China's name but made clear that the United States would take a different approach here.
And now I present to you a man who you all know.
On behalf of Africa, I invite all of you
And holding the first of its kind summit in 2014 was a watershed moment to cement new kinds of partnerships between our nations. Partnerships not to create political obligation, or foster dependence, but to spur shared success. I emphasize shared success and opportunity.
Biden announced more than $15 billion in promised trade investments and new partnerships, including an initiative that pledges $350 million to help the continent's effort to digitally modernize and $350 million to advance women's workplace equality and entrepreneurship. The First Lady's office pledged $300 million for cancer prevention, screening, treatment and research in Africa. Now, Biden has already committed to $55 billion in economic aid to African countries over the next 3 years, support for a permanent group of 20 seats for the African Union, and also the appointment of a special representative to implement summit commitments. However, this push comes as the United States has fallen well behind China in investment in sub-Saharan Africa, which has become a key battleground in an increasingly fraught competition between the major powers. The summit is the first of its kind since 2014, which was held under President Barack Obama. For more on this, our correspondent Susan Teherani gets us the latest. Listen in.
U.S. President Joe Biden is trying to recommit to the African continent. On Wednesday, in a keynote address to some 50 visiting African heads of states, he vowed to expand America's involvement at a time when competition from China and Russia and other countries are on the rise. This was the first U.S. African Leaders Summit in 8 years. President Joe Biden said that those commitments will come in the form of a pledge to help tackle food security, development, health care, COVID pandemic, security in general, and climate change for the continent. Susan Teherani reporting from New York for WION. World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.